Hello and welcome or welcome back to my channel where I talk about productivity and organization. Today we're going to talk about David Allen's Getting Things Done or GTD system. I'm going to stick to the original system, which is a framework. It is a method for information flow in your life with plenty of room for you to choose your own favorite tools or other customizations. This book was published in 2001, so it's not so old, but it does predate the surge of productivity books that came more 2010 and onwards. In the field of productivity, this book is like a textbook, and it really lays the groundwork for a lot of other subfields in productivity that have gained a lot more interest since 2001. But now I'll stop nerding out and get to summarizing this amazing system. Now this is an entire book, and a good one at that. So for today, I'm going to focus on the task management aspect, and if the video is received well, then I'll make a follow-up with either the referencing and filing aspect or perhaps my own implementation. Okay, let's get to it. The GTD system has 5 steps. They are capture, clarify, organize, plan, and do. David Allen renamed some of them when he re-released an update to the book. So I'll put both versions of each of the names on screen. So number 1 is capture. You want to capture all the thoughts that come into your head so they live somewhere else and not in your brain. This is the bedrock of the GTD system and any good planning system for that matter. Your brain is meant for having ideas, not for storing them. So get those ideas out so your brain is free to have ideas and think and do deep work and not be worrying about remembering something. In GTD, we do this with inboxes. You can have as many inboxes as you want, but the fewer the better. They can be physical or digital, but you probably want at least one of each. And the physical one should be able to hold more than just papers and mail. For example, mine always has a couple toys that I need to fix for my kids, and the classic example is an item that needs to be returned. I also have a few specialty inboxes, like my grocery list is a physical piece of paper in the kitchen, and I have a couple Google Docs for like special types of ideas, like I have one for cool project ideas. So to wrap up capture, this is step number 1, so it's important you get it right. You need to decide what your inboxes are. All thoughts need to get captured by an inbox. And you can do this wherever you want. This can be the Notes app on your phone. It can be Post-its thrown to a stack of paper. Just so long that any thought that comes into your head, you can capture it and put it in an inbox so it stops buzzing around your head. Okay, now for step 2, we need to break out the flowchart. Step 2 is to process or clarify all of the different thoughts that have been captured by your inboxes. The first step, or the first branch in the flowchart, is to ask yourself whether this is actionable or not actionable. I want to focus on actionable in this video. As I said, I want to focus on the task management aspect of GTD. So for the non-actionable, I'm going to give a really high overview. If you are enjoying this video, then please hit like or subscribe, and then I will prioritize making a follow-up video and focus on that reference and notes aspect of the GTD system. But at super high level, all the non-actionable items, you're going to do one of 3 things. You could discard it. Number 2, you could put it in a someday maybe file or folder. And number 3 would be to file it away. Someday maybe is a place for all of your ideas that just aren't really for now. And you can check this every so often, maybe pull something out. What is important is that these ideas are not buzzing around in our heads. We want our heads clear. Filing can be a literal physical filing cabinet. You can scan and file things digitally. Those specialty inboxes I mentioned, like my grocery list or my list of like cool project ideas, those are kind of inboxes, but also files because those thoughts are already where they're meant to be. Okay, so that is all of the processing we need for the non-actionable items. Let's get back to that flowchart to look at the actionable ones. The next branch in the flowchart is ask yourself if you can do this task in 2 minutes or less. And if you can, you're supposed to just do it. This will save yourself all of the overhead of further processing this task. If not, the options are to delegate or postpone. Let's start with the easy one again with delegate. When you delegate something, you put it on your waiting for list. These are things that you hopefully do not need to take any more action on, but you're still waiting to get some kind of follow-up and make sure these things really close. I have some examples. You might be waiting for a package to arrive or a refund to process. You could wait for a revision to come back from an editor or a professor, a confirmation from an assistant, vacation dates from your partner, or if you lend something to someone too. We all delegate things all the time, even without being like a big shot executive with a staff. This is the place for all the little keep an eye on, follow up if needed tasks that hopefully never require any more action from us, but we're writing them down here so that we don't have to keep worrying, oh, did I ever get refunded for that? I think this is a fantastic list to have and something worth stealing from the GTD system, even if you're using something else. I would right away create a little list like this in your Notes app or in your planner. Okay, when we don't delegate, we postpone. We say postpone because we're not going to do it right now. And this is actually step 3 in the GTD system. Okay, we started with capturing all of our thoughts in step 1. And then in step 2, we got rid of the non-action items, the quick 2-minute tasks, and anything we could delegate. Now in step 3, we have all the action items, aka tasks, and we're finally going to do some planning. Back to our flowchart. First thing we ask ourselves for the items that have gotten this far down is this task time anchored? Does it have to be done on a specific date? And if so, it goes in the calendar. I also personally separate this type of action and put it in my calendar rather than my planner, but I call them events. Events from my calendar and tasks from a planner. David Allen is right on the money in calling these things all action items and emphasizing that the only distinction is how well anchored the time aspect of when this thing is happening. The line between events and tasks is a blurry one for sure. Okay, next, the action items that don't have a specific date that they are happening, we are going to make a whole bunch of lists. The first group of lists are going to be project lists. Any action item that has more than 2 steps is a project in GTD. This could be a school or work project, but it could also be planning a party or a vacation, even something really small. If it has subtasks in GTD, it's a project. GTD also has you make lists by context. Context can be at my computer, at the office, on the train, with my partner. It is literally the context in which the task needs to be done. And finally, the last part of this current step, the organized step, is we are going to copy over a selection of actions from all these different lists into the most important list, the next actions list. So for example, I'm currently planning a Disney trip for about 6 months from now. And I have on that project list booking the hotel, the dining reservations, all of those things. And as excited as I am to do all of those, the only thing that can make it onto the next action list is finalizing the dates. Because as excited as I am for all those other tasks, I can't do them yet. I can't do them until picking the dates is done. So only picking the dates goes into the next actions list. This is important enough that I'll say it again. In your next actions list, you can only put tasks that you really can do now. You can't put anything that's dependent on another task already happening. These are literally your next actions for your next actions list. And that's a pretty good transition to step 4, reflect. There are 2 key steps here, the daily review and the weekly review. The daily review is pretty straightforward. You look at your calendar and you follow it. You look at your next actions list and you work your way through it. Of course, if you're making great progress, you can go to any of your other lists, your other project lists, and grab the new next action. The weekly review has more to it. Here we have a whole checklist of things to review weekly. First is to go through all of your inboxes and clear them out. This shouldn't be too overwhelming. Remember, you're not doing, you're just sorting. Next step is you're gonna look at your calendar and make sure that it's accurate. You didn't forget to put anything in there. And we're also gonna review our project lists and take the new next action and move it to our next actions list. You're also gonna review your waiting for list. Remember, that's where everything we delegated got put a little note there. And you're gonna make sure that nothing needs follow-up. And then you can review any short and long-term goals and kind of take stock in yourself that you're moving in the right direction in life. And you can also look at your Sunday maybe folder, but personally, I think that's more like something you should do a few times a year rather than every week. And finally, you review a trigger list. This is a list of different aspects of your life, and you look at each one and you ask yourself, am I forgetting anything for the car, for my partner, for my health, the upcoming events? Those examples are from this sample personal trigger list from GTD. You can also have a professional trigger list. Again, this is a list of things that require your attention, and you're going to look at each one and see if you can trigger remembering something that had fallen through the cracks. This sample from GTD is really complete, like meetings that need to be scheduled or rescheduled, staff, hiring or feedback, in-progress projects, all really great triggers. I don't know any other system that uses the trigger list, but I really like the idea. We never want stuff falling through the cracks. Okay, that brings us to our final step, engage or do. This is when we actually do the work. The system is called getting things done after all. We are not just here to set goals and play with washi tape, no hate to either by the way, but with GTD, we are here to get things done. We capture our new thoughts, we process them, and we get it done. What you do in the engage step is you follow your calendar, and with any leftover time, you tackle your next actions list. That's basically it for step 5. Now, GTD is a framework that does not require any particular planner, but what I think most GTDers use is something that has both a scheduled place and a list place. Actually, that's what Franklin Covey has too, and so does my own company, soon to be launched paper planner. You can go to paper.simply.digital if you'd like some extra early info and some special early pricing when that's available. Okay, so that's the 5 steps. I'm not sure how long I've been talking, maybe like 15 minutes. Obviously, this is a whole book and a good one at that. There's a lot more that I could talk about, but That is pretty much the task management aspect of GTD. Like I said in the beginning, this is a system, a framework. The GTD website sells some printables, but there is no official GTD planner. Though there are many that follow the system, and some even call themselves GTD planners. Maybe they're licensed, I'm not sure. The point is, this is a system that can work with almost any planner, or even just the notes app on your phone and a paper tray on your desk. On this channel, I like to talk about different productivity systems in the hopes that you and I can take the best parts and incorporate them into our own personal systems. So to do that with GTD, I would go through the 5 steps, maybe watch the video again. I'll put the timestamp links in the description. And for each step, ask yourself how your own current system fits into that step of the framework. I did that while writing this video, and I was shocked, even as like a GTD fan, how well my system fits into the GTD system. Basically, the only real difference is what I also consider the cornerstone of the Simply Goals and Tasks system, which is zooming in and out, planning quarterly, breaking it down by month, then by week, then by day, and executing on that really broken down plan. Also, personally, I don't have really well-defined inboxes, and looking at all of this, it drives home that I would benefit from having them. So please try that out. You can use the timestamps down below, or if you're ready for more, I will also put up on the screen my playlist of all my different productivity concept videos, so you can pick and choose your favorite aspects of all of those and incorporate them in your system. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Hug. Actually, while I have you, I would be so curious to know, does your own system actually fit pretty well into the GTD system, without you even realizing it? Or what part of what you do, what does it really vary? I would be so genuinely curious if you had a second to leave a comment. I'd just love that. Okay, ciao.